I dry heaved, my knuckles turning white as I gripped the cold porcelain. The sour taste of bile coated my throat, burning its way up my nose. I buried my face in the toilet bowl of the Thien Thai karaoke bar, trying to purge the sickness from my system. The air was a suffocating cocktail of cheap lavender air freshener and industrial-strength bleach. But underneath it all lay the faint, metallic tang of misery. I lifted my head and looked at the mirror above the sink. The reflection staring back wasn't Lan, the girl who, just 48 hours ago, wore a pristine white dye and smelled of sunlight. No, the creature in the glass was a stranger. Her lips were smeared with blood-red lipstick, now cracked and fading. Her long, black hair, once washed with locust fruit and grapefruit leaves by her mother, was a rat's nest, matted with sweat and reeking of stale cigarette smoke and Chivas Regal. The red dress she wore was less of a garment and more of a second skin. Dangerously short, exposing curves I had spent my entire life trying to hide. Outside the heavy soundproof door, the bass thumped against the walls like a erratic heartbeat. Laser lights sliced through the smoke, and men, hungry, sweating animals, waited with wandering hands and wallets full of cash. 48 hours ago, I was a virgin dreaming of a university lecture hall. Now, I was a PR girl, a piece of meat appraised by the ounce, valued in beer towers and tips stuffed into a bra. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash that mirror into 1,000 jagged shards. But my throat was closed tight. This was hell, and I, Lan, had just walked through the front gates. Let's rewind. Before the nightmare, my life was painted in different colors. I was born in a village where poverty was a genetic condition. It was a place where people sold their faces to the earth and their backs to the sky just to scrape by. But, in a twist of cruel irony, fate dropped a masterpiece into this bleak landscape. The villagers called me a jasmine flower blooming in a buffalo pasture. My name is Lan. At 18, I was an anomaly. I didn't have the sun-baked skin or the calloused hands of a field worker. I inherited my mother's complexion, skin as white and smooth as a peeled egg. My eyes were large, dark pools of liquid sorrow, framed by lashes that curled naturally. But the thing that sealed my fate was my body. By 10th grade, I had developed curves that made grown men stop mid-sentence. A full chest, a waist you could span with 2 hands, and hips that swayed with a rhythm I didn't understand. The boys at school stared with their jaws on the floor. The village gossips just spat on the ground and muttered, "That one? She's too pretty for her own good. If she doesn't end up a queen, she'll end up a whore." I ignored them. I was shy, bookish. I was the top literature student in the district. I dreamed of Hanoi, of escaping the suffocating bamboo hedges of the village. My childhood was poor but peaceful. Until I turned 15, that's when my father, the roof of our house, our protector, fell from a scaffold at a construction site. He died, and the sky collapsed on us. My mother was a fragile woman. She couldn't handle the loneliness or the crushing weight of survival. 2 years after Dad died, when I was 17, she remarried. The stepfather, a butcher from the neighboring village. He was built like a tank. Skin perpetually flushed red, always smelling of rice wine and pig blood. He moved in as the man of the house, but he brought a dark cloud that never lifted. He didn't say much, but his eyes were loud. At first, he was careful, but as the alcohol took hold, his gaze shifted. It wasn't the look of a father. It was the look of a wolf sizing up a fat lamb. I'd catch him peering through the cracks in the bathroom door. I'd wake up from a nap to find him sitting across the room, staring at my chest, swallowing hard. I told my mother. I begged her. "Mom, the way he looks at me, it's wrong. I'm scared." But Mom, desperate for affection and stability, shut me down. "Don't be crazy, Lan. He treats you like his own daughter. Don't let your imagination ruin this family. Her blindness was my death sentence. The day my life ended was the 15th of the lunar month. Mom had gone to the district market to pick up goods and missed the last bus home. She called to say she'd stay overnight. The news hit me like a punch to the gut. I was alone with him. A summer storm rolled in at dusk, violent and angry. Thunder cracked like artillery fire, shaking the foundations of our small house. Rain hammered the tin roof, drowning out the world. I locked my bedroom door. I huddled under the blanket, clutching a small fruit knife, my heart hammering against my ribs. Outside, the TV blared, competing with the clinking of a bottle against a glass. He was drinking, alone. Around 11 p.m., heavy footsteps approached my door, the sound of plastic sandals dragging on the tile floor. Slap, 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 sounded like the Grim Reaper approaching. Rattle, the doorknob twisted. Lan, open up, I need to ask you something. His voice was thick, slurring with liquor. I held my breath. You're drunk, uncle, go to sleep. We'll talk when mom gets home. I said, open the door. You look down on me? Your mother is gone. You're the woman of the house now. You have to serve me. Bam! A massive kick slammed into the flimsy wood. The rusty latch gave way instantly. The door flew open. He stood there, backlit by the living room light, a looming shadow that filled the frame. The stench of alcohol and sour sweat flooded my sanctuary. He lunged. I screamed, backing into the corner, brandishing the tiny knife. Stay back, I'll kill you. He laughed, a low, guttural sound. Oh, a feisty one? You want to kill your daddy? Come here. With one swat of his hand, the knife went flying. He tackled me onto the bed, his weight crushing the air from my lungs. His hands, rough like sandpaper, tore at my clothes. No, Mom, help me. I screamed until my throat bled. I scratched his face, his neck, but the thunder outside swallowed my cries. No one heard me. God had left the building. When he forced himself on me, I felt something snap inside my chest. It wasn't just physical pain, though that was blinding. It was the shattering of my soul. I stopped fighting. I stared up at the water-stained ceiling. A drop of rain leaked through, landing in my eye, mixing with the hot tears streaming down my face. I died in that bed. The Lan who loved poetry. The Lan who wanted to go to college. She was gone. All that was left was a hollow shell, defiled by a monster. When he was done, he rolled over and passed out, snoring like a chainsaw. I dragged my broken body to the bathroom. Under the freezing water, I scrubbed until my skin was raw and bleeding. I wanted to peel off my flesh, to reach inside and wash the filth from my veins. But I knew, you can't wash away a stain on your soul. 2 a.m. I couldn't stay. If Mom came home, what would happen? Would she believe me? Or would she blame me for seducing her husband? If this got out, the village would spit on me. My life was over. I packed a bag with shaking hands. I smashed my piggy bank, 3 years of savings meant for university books, and gathered the crumpled bills. A little over 2 million dong, $80. That was the price of my new life. I ran into the night. The rain was still pouring. The dirt road was a river of mud. I slipped, fell, got up, and kept running. I ran past the rice paddies, past the dike, past my high school. I ran away from my childhood. I caught the 4 a.m. bus to Hanoi. I sat in the back row, wet, shivering, and small, as the bus rumbled away, leaving the bamboo hedges behind. I finally broke down. Hanoi, the city of dreams. Now, it was just a place to hide. The city hit me like a physical blow. Noise, dust, chaos, skyscrapers that pierced the smog, an endless stream of motorbikes. I called cousin Han from a payphone. Han had left the village 5 years ago. When she visited for Tet, she looked like a movie star, dyed blonde hair, rhinestones on her nails, smelling of expensive perfume. Everyone said she had made it. She picked me up on a shiny Honda Shish scooter. She took one look at me, a drowned rat with hollow eyes, and didn't ask questions. "Get on," she said. Her apartment was deep in a maze of alleyways in Kaozai district. It was dark, damp, and smelled of mold, but inside, it was a chaotic shrine to materialism. Clothes everywhere, piles of makeup, empty takeout boxes. The room smelled of strong perfume trying to mask the scent of cold cigarette ash. I told her everything. Through sobbing breaths, I told her about the rape. Han smoked a cigarette, blowing smoke rings at the ceiling. She didn't look shocked. Her eyes were hard, tired, and old. "Bastard," she muttered. "But listen, Lan, that's life. You're beautiful, and you're poor. That makes you a piece of meat for the dogs to fight over. In this city, without money, you're lower than dirt." She looked me up and down, appraising me. "What's your plan? Police? Go home?" "I can't go home," I whispered. "I'd rather die. I want a job. Anything. Washing dishes. Waiting tables. I just need to survive." Han let out a sharp, cynical laugh. "Anything? Look at you. Hands soft as silk. Skin like porcelain. You think you can wash dishes? You'll ruin your hands in a week for 3 million dong a month. That won't even cover rent. Let alone lipstick." She stubbed out her cigarette and leaned in close. "I'll be honest. It's a waste. God gave you that face and that body. I work at a karaoke lounge. It's easy. You pour beer. You pick songs. You sing a little. If the customers are happy, they tip. You could make in a night what a dishwasher makes in a month." I froze. I knew what she was suggesting. The rumors from the village about bar girls flooded my mind. I can't be a whore. Han laughed again, cold and sharp. "Who said anything about being a whore? We're PR, public relations. We sell charm. We sell songs. We don't sell our bodies unless we want to. Besides," her voice dropped to a whisper, "you already lost your gold, didn't you? That bastard took it. So what are you saving yourself for? A poverty-stricken husband? Or are you saving yourself to starve to death?" Her words were cruel, but they were true. I had nothing left to lose. My purity was gone. The hunger in my stomach and the fear of the streets were real. I nodded, a simple nod that sold my soul. That afternoon, the makeover began. Han pulled a dress out of her closet. Red, tight, short, put it on. It felt like I was naked. The neckline plunged, showing off the swell of my breasts. The back was entirely open. I kept trying to pull the hem down. "Stop pulling," Han snapped. "Men don't pay to look at the fabric. Lan, they pay to see the skin. Skin is money." She sat me down and painted a new face over mine. Thick foundation to hide the trauma. Sharp eyeliner, false lashes, and lips red as blood. When I looked in the mirror, the village girl was gone. In her place was a woman, seductive, sharp, but with eyes that still held the terrified look of a trapped deer. "Let's go. Tonight, I'll watch over you. Just remember, the customer is God. Don't cry, don't complain, just smile." Thin Thai meant heaven, but inside, it was a neon-lit purgatory. The music slammed into my chest. The hallways were dim, filled with girls in skimpy dresses and the smell of cheap cologne. The mama-san, a fat woman dripping in gold chains, grabbed my chin and turned my face left and right, checking my teeth like I was a horse at an auction. Han's new girl? Not bad. Fresh meat. The VIPs love the innocent look. She grinned, revealing nicotine-stained teeth. Break her in on King Room 3. 20 minutes later, I was shoved into a room with Han and 3 other girls. The VIP room was freezing cold, smelling of sweet shisha smoke and expensive scotch. 4 middle-aged men sat on the velvet sofa, faces red with drink, bellies spilling over their belts. Fresh stock, fresh stock, a bald man with thick glasses yelled, his eyes lighting up like headlights. I hid behind Han, but my fear, my trembling, that was exactly what they wanted. The bald guy pointed a chubby finger at me. Her, the one in red hiding in the back. Come here. I couldn't move. Han elbowed me hard in the ribs. Go, smile, do you want to starve? I walked over on leaden legs. I sat on the edge of the sofa, leaving a gap between us. But immediately, a heavy, hairy arm clamped around my waist and yanked me close. I fell into his lap. The smell of him, foreign, boozy, male, made me gag. His hand, bold and disgusting, crawled up my thigh, then to my waist, then my chest. Why are you shaking, new girl? I love the shy ones. He laughed, whispering filth into my ear. I froze. Flashbacks of the storm, of the stepfather, overlapped with reality. I wanted to slap his fat face. I wanted to run. But then I looked at Han. She was sitting on another man's lap, pouring beer, laughing a fake, tinkling laugh. I saw the man stuff a crisp 500.000 dong bill into her cleavage. Money. I needed money to live. I needed money to never go back to that hellhole in the countryside. I bit my lip until I tasted iron. I closed my eyes. I let my body go limp. What's your name? Lan. I whispered. Drink with me, Lan. He pressed a glass to my lips. I drank. The chivas burned my throat like acid. It was the first drink of my life as a whore. It tasted bitter. I got drunk. The room spun. I learned to giggle when he touched me. I learned to endure. When the night ended, the bald guy shoved 3 500.000 notes into my hand. 1.5 million dong, $60. My mother broke her back in the rice fields for a month to earn that. I made it in 2 hours of humiliation. I ran to the bathroom and vomited. I washed my face, looking at the wet bills in my hand. I didn't tear them up. I smoothed them out and put them in my purse. That night, Lan died. From her ashes, something else was rising. A survivor. A girl who would learn to love the trade. Because the trade was the only thing that gave her power over the men who tried to destroy her. The muddy path had ended. The asphalt road to hell was just beginning.